Susan Boyle's life changed completely after her amazing audition on Britain's Got Talent. She wasn't the favorite initially, but her strong voice made everyone notice her. She went on to have a successful career, winning America's Got Talent, The Champions, and her wealth grew past $45 million. Suddenly, she vanished from the public eye. Join us to discover what happened to her and learn more about her story. Susan Boyle is young, talented, and proof that you should never judge someone by their looks. Susan was born on April 1, 1961. Her father, Patrick Boyle, was a miner. He also liked to sing. Her mother, Bridget Boyle, worked as a shorthand typist. Susan has 4 older brothers and 6 older sisters. She grew up in a small council house in West Lothian, Scotland, where she still lives. At school, she often felt rejected. The only thing that brought her peace was music. She was a member of her church choir and took part in local talent shows, often winning. Her mother encouraged her to try out for Britain's Got Talent, but Susan thought she was too old. She decided not to try. She watched the show on TV and liked it. In 2004, Susan couldn't audition. Her mother was sick, and she cared for her. After her mother died in 2007, Susan finally decided to try out in 2008. She hadn't performed in public before this. During Britain's Got Talent, held in Glasgow, she amazed everyone. Her powerful cover of I Dreamed a Dream earned a standing ovation. Amanda Holden told her it was the biggest wake-up call she'd ever seen. Susan's story showed that people shouldn't judge based on looks. Many famous people, like Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher, started tweeting support for her after her success. Her audition video went viral. It became the most viewed on YouTube at the time. Although she finished second in the contest and faced some exhaustion, Susan started a new chapter. She performed with fellow contestants on tour and worked on her first album. Her story inspired many, showing that dreams can come true at any age. Her debut album, I Dreamed a Dream, was released in November 2009. It broke sales records and sold over 2 million copies in its first week. It's still the fastest-selling debut album by a female artist. In the beginning, her dreams felt far away. She was the youngest of 6 sisters and had faced many struggles. Susan was born alongside her 4 brothers when her mother, Bridget, was 47. She had limited resources and little chance to care for another child. Her birth was nearly fatal, and she briefly lost oxygen, which later contributed to her learning disabilities. She learned of this diagnosis years later. During her early career, Susan discovered something new about herself. School was a tough time for her. She was bullied constantly by classmates and even teachers. In a heartfelt interview, she said it was hard to keep up in a system that moved too fast. She described herself as a slow learner, just taking in things a little more slowly than others. Because of this, she felt left behind and pushed to catch up. Her teachers punished her harshly, even with a belt, whenever she struggled academically. Her classmates called her Susie Simple and teased her all the time. School became the worst part of her life. The bullying and physical punishment damaged her confidence and made learning harder. Despite these struggles, Susan stepped onto Britain's Got Talent as a quiet way to show her bullies she could do something great. Her act was a kind of revenge, proving she was more than their cruelty. She later wrote and performed a song called You'll See on her first album. It was a message to her bullies. She had succeeded. despite their hurtful words. But her journey was not easy. In 2011, she shared a painful part of her past. Besides her learning disorder, she also had epilepsy. Doctors got her diagnosis right, but her parents and teachers did not know how to handle her condition. Epilepsy is common among musicians like Elton John, Neil Young, and Lil Wayne. For Susan, though, her case was badly treated. She remembered having seizures at school often. They caused her to faint during lessons, and her classmates would gather around her. They would call her names and laugh. Things weren't much better at home. Her parents would overprotect her during her seizures. If her problems got worse, they didn't know what to do. Susan's father would often ignore her when she asked for extra help. He would call her touchy, and most people believed her epilepsy was connected to her learning difficulties. That was not true, yet her condition went untreated. Unsurprisingly, she finished school with few qualifications. It was hard for her to find a job because of her learning disability and lack of proper diagnosis. Susan said she applied everywhere, but either received no response or failed to get past her first interview. Eventually, she joined Wesleyan College as a trainee cook, but she only stayed 6 months. Most of her life was spent moving between different government training programs, never holding a steady job or earning enough money. Despite these struggles, Susan found happiness in performing at local venues. Music was her only outlet until a tragic loss pushed her to chase a dream she'd long avoided. Her difficult family life did not stop her. Susan Boyle believed in forgiveness and kindness. She didn't grow up rich and wasn't a romantic. During her time on Britain's Got Talent, she said she had never been married or kissed. Her modesty and good manners influenced her big life choices. After her father died, her siblings left their 4-bedroom council house, leaving their sick mother behind. Only Susan and her cat Pebbles stayed. Even after becoming a famous singer and earning millions, she still lives in her childhood home. She enjoys the simple life. A neighbor shared that when her mother Bridget died, Susan didn't leave her house for 3 or 4 days. She wouldn't answer calls or open the door. Susan practices Catholicism, singing in her church choir and helping elderly church members. She once said her life before fame was plain and steady. In 2010, she appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show. In 2012, she revealed she has Asperger's syndrome in a BBC interview. She also has epilepsy, which she was diagnosed with in November 2012. During that interview, she talked about internet dating as well. She joked that she was too scared to speak out loud, worried that if she did, her limbs might end up in a Blackburn trash bin in July 2013. Susan supported the Better Together campaign to keep Scotland part of the UK during the 2014 independence referendum. She said, "I am a proud Scottish patriot, passionate about my heritage and country, but I am not a nationalist." She explained that Scotland has kept its identity while remaining part of Britain. Susan doesn't drink alcohol and lives with type 2 diabetes, diagnosed in June 2013. In November 2014, the media reported she had a boyfriend who often claimed to be her first love and was close in age. In 2022, she suffered a small stroke and later shared this during a show on June 4th, 2023, after Britain's Got Talent. Why do you think Susan Boyle stays in her childhood home? Despite appearing gentle, her look was underestimated because she lacked fancy clothes. Yet her beautiful voice impressed everyone, judges included. The change from bullying to a standing ovation, before, during, and after her performance, drew global attention. Her audition went viral in just a week, with over 100 million views. Clips of her earlier performances, like her 1999 song, A River, also gained fame online. Throughout the show, Susan battled sickness and fatigue, but still delivered a strong final act. She finished second, just behind the dance group Diversity. Still, she won a bigger battle, inspiring many to never give up on their dreams, no matter their age. Her first album, I Dreamed a Dream, came out in November 2009. It became a huge success, quickly selling over 2 million copies worldwide in the first week. It set a record as one of the fastest-selling debut albums by a female artist. The album was also the top seller on Amazon before its release. Its success showed how powerful her music had become. The dream became a reality when her single claimed the top spot as the best-selling record worldwide in its release year. It sold over 9 million copies. Billboard confirmed this by reporting the highest first-week sales for a debut female artist album, according to SoundScan data from 1991. This success led Susan Boyle to set a Guinness World Record for the fastest-selling debut album by a female. She also reached new heights as the oldest person to achieve the top debut album record in the UK. Her powerful voice and inspiring story touched many, especially in America. She appeared on America's Got Talent, where audiences welcomed her warmly. Gone were the days when she was dismissed or overlooked. Susan embraced her success and no longer feared the spotlight. Instead of watching from the sidelines, she became an active part of her own story. She enjoyed her time in the limelight, becoming the main character. After her debut hit, she released 2 more albums, The Gift in 2010 and Someone to Watch Over Me in 2011. After a short break, she returned with a holiday album called Standing Ovation in 2012. 2 years later, she released another breakthrough album called Hope, followed by A Wonderful World in 2016. She worked steadily on her music, but eventually took a long break due to age and health issues. Many believed her career was over. Yet in 2019, she surprised everyone by celebrating 10 years in music with an album called 10, which showcased her best work. She once again defied the odds and made her mark in music. However, her wins also brought sadness. Fans noticed that Susan's health began to decline. Her many years of success came with a price. Her diagnosis hit her hard and changed her life forever. She had so much to give, yet now she prefers a quiet life away from fame's bright lights. Beneath her great success, there's a shadow of tragedy. Susan reflected on her work, saying she enjoyed making her album and hoped the public would like it as much as she did. If Susan Boyle's rise to fame surprised you, prepare for some shocking truths that could change how you see her story. Are you ready for some heavy revelations? Let's find out. Britain's Got Talent made Susan Boyle a star overnight, but the intense training left her exhausted. She was happy with her singing, but still new to real fame. After the show, she struggled with constant interviews, posing for photos, and rude critics. Although she was well known, she didn't win. Right after the finale, she was taken to the hospital. The media pressure over 5 weeks had drained her. She was getting physically weaker. Later, it was confirmed she had a breakdown. Even with her talent, she didn't get enough votes and snapped at the show's manager. Rumors from the set said she threw water at a staff member, yelling she hated the show. That night, police came to her London home because of her strange behavior. Soon after, she checked into a mental health center. News of her breakdown spread fast. It showed that the show's producers ignored her mental and physical health issues before the final. Ofcom, the UK's media regulator, wanted to investigate if the show prioritized viewers' ratings over her health, but later dropped the idea. This hard time forced Susan to take her music career more slowly. Still, she kept performing for her fans while working on new songs. In 2013, Susan faced another tough blow. She was finally diagnosed with a learning disability. Interestingly, there was no brain damage. It was a misdiagnosis from her youth. She was diagnosed with Asperger's, a type of autism spectrum disorder. Learning this was heartbreaking for her. It taught her a lot about herself and her struggles. While it seemed unlucky at first, Susan realized it was also a stroke of luck. For years, she believed a minor birth complication had caused permanent damage. She thought of herself as unlucky during her school years. The diagnosis of Asperger's changed everything. It was the first time she got the right treatment. In an interview with The Guardian, Susan shared that being called brain-damaged felt unfair and cruel. Deep down, she knew she was just like everyone else, with her own way of doing things. She hoped her diagnosis would help others understand and treat those with neurodivergence more kindly. She said, "I think people will treat me better because they will understand who I am and why I do things." After sharing her story, Susan received lots of support from fans and critics alike. People appreciated her honesty about her life, something many celebrities avoid. In the same year, Susan also had to give up her beloved pet. Her love for eating chocolate added to her struggles when she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. The diagnosis came at the right time, but she had to learn a new way of life. Adjusting to her autism made things even harder. When the pandemic hit, she had to take extra steps to stay safe from COVID-19. This paused her music career for more than 2 years. She stayed home and couldn't work with others in the studio. Still, she kept working on new music. Her latest album was a big success and showed her talent. Her life wasn't just about fans and albums. Things at home weren't easy either. In 2010, she bought a house with her earnings. But a group of troublemakers made her life difficult. They threw rocks and tried to break in. This made her so upset she decided to go back to her childhood home. She gave her fancy house to her niece. Although she felt sad about these events, her sister's illness made her pause her work. Susan took a break before returning in 2015. Her sister, Brady, died of cancer at age 73. Her death hit Susan hard, especially since Brady was her closest family member. After Brady passed away, Susan also cared for her daughter. Brady had been a strong support for Susan. She stood by her through many tough times, including when the media harshly criticized her appearance. Brady was more than just a sister. She was a true friend and a big part of Susan's life. She stood her ground and became more successful as time went on. Bry was always there to support Susan through a messy fight with their brother Jerry. Susan's success meant millions in her bank account, and her siblings all wanted a piece. Trouble started when Susan decided to help Jerry by giving him £75,000 to save his struggling business. Her other siblings disagreed with this move. Susan said Jerry had threatened to take his own life if she didn't send the money. This led to a big falling out, with Jerry accusing Susan of lies. In 2016, Susan had a public breakdown at Heathrow Airport, which brought her siblings back together. That moment gave hope for reconciliation and a happier ending to their feud. Sadly, Susan's health problems did not stop. In May 2022, she revealed she had a minor stroke, making it harder to work on her music. She shared this news after performing well on Britain's Got Talent, singing with the West End cast of Les Miserables. That performance was very meaningful to her. Susan explained that returning to the stage after her stroke was a big step. She said in April that she had a minor stroke and never thought she'd be back on stage. But she did it. She later posted on Instagram about how much practice she needed to sing her favorite song, I Dreamed a Dream. Her hard work paid off, and she keeps pursuing her music career. Despite health issues, Susan still performs when she has the strength. She mostly stays out of the spotlight, but keeps making music. Recently, she said not having children is her biggest regret. She has a secret relationship with an American man. She even told the Mirror she was casually talking to a doctor there in 2016, but it wasn't serious. Media reports now say she's happy and in a stable relationship. She does not plan to share her partner's identity or marry. Her boyfriend joins her for special days like her birthday, but that's all she has revealed about her love life. Before her big comeback on TV, fans hoped for new music. Susan Boyle remains a cherished performer. Fans wait patiently for her next musical project.